Well, good morning, folks. I'm Al Mattingly, the Davis County Judge Executive. I'm in the last few weeks of my term, and we're kind of doing a little video history of things that went on the last 12 years in Davis County. And we are sitting on Wyndcrest Drive, which is just off of Worthington Road. Wyndcrest Drive is a street that would flood every time you got 2 or 3 inches of rain all at one time. And I know the previous court had issues with it. People were in their court many times trying to get this issue resolved, but quite frankly, there was no resolution to it. There was no way that you could make a bigger ditch. There was no way you could divert the water. So sometimes in the somewhere around 2016, 2017, I was attending a meeting at the GRAD, Green River Area Development District office, and FEMA was there. The Federal Emergency Management Group was there, and I was raising Cain with them because we couldn't get any help for these people. In the past, we were able to help some folks in this county who were in a flood zone that just flooded all the time. But they based everything they did on their flood insurance claims. Well, people don't want to make claims on flood insurance. It's expensive enough to begin with. So I said, it's a shame that you wouldn't allow our local emergency management group. It's a shame that you wouldn't let our local county engineer certify that these folks are having problems. And they said, Judge, we can do that now. So inside of 2 to 2.5 years, we had filed with FEMA to do a buyout of all the homes located here on Wyndcrest Drive. I think there were 12 homes. 10 of the folks took advantage of the buyout, and it was really great for the people that lived here, because trying to sell a home in an area that floods 3 or 4 times a year and the water would actually get this deep out in the street is pretty difficult, and you virtually have no value in that home. Well, FEMA bought those homes out and did not take into consideration the fact that they flooded, and it allowed the people to go out on the open market and buy a comparable home. And so within the last 3 years, I think the last of those people that took advantage of the buyout moved out, and we continue to flood. It continues to flood here. We made a deal with one of our local farmers he's farming a portion of that property. The rest in return for that, he mows and maintains the property. The county has quit maintaining this old street because there's really no one living on it. And it was a good deal for the people who lived here. It ended up being a good deal for the county. And it just goes to show how county government, local government, working together with state and federal government can accomplish things.
Andy Ball, Davis County EMA Director. We are at Wyndcrest Drive. Behind me and beside me formerly were 9 homes that were part of a FEMA acquisition buyout project that we did. We started it in 2015 where we had to get signatures from each resident. They made a commitment, and then we had the houses appraised. And the reason that we're in here is because this is kind of the cereal bowl, as we like to call it, for the area, due to Rhodes Creek that runs through this area. This is a bowl that collects water from that creek and from our agricultural fields next to the properties. So they did a study on Panther Creek as well as Rhodes Creek, and it was found that it would take millions upon millions of dollars to make any difference. And even then, I believe Mark Brasher told me from the study it was $10 million wouldn't even make 6 inches of difference in the water levels, according to the Division of Water. So we went to the state, Kentucky Emergency Management, and inquired about different methods that we could help these folks out. Judge Mattingly had asked me to do that when I first got hired, and they came back with for FEMA acquisition for this. So we went boots forward with that, and it did take a couple of years to finish up because they had Hurricane Harvey take a lot of FEMA assets away that would be program management, for instance. So ours got delayed nearly a year, if I recall correctly. But the 9 homes, the county demolished them. That was part of our in-kind donations to the project. It was a HMGP project, Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. And what that entails is the federal government pays 75% of the cost share, the state pays 12%, and then the local entity pays 13%. We were out very few dollars because most of our cost was in kind, like I was saying, for the demolition. We reseeded the area for wildlife. There was that cost, as well as some minor costs such as unhooking the Freon from the appliances, the gas from the appliances that were on gas, any propane, and then lead and asbestos abatement. We did have a couple of houses that had asbestos in them. So most of the cost for the county was very low as far as monetary goes, but it was about if I recall right, $1.4 million project for the 9 home buyout. In the end, I think total the county was at about $300,000, $300,000 to $350,000. But again, most of that was in kind through labor, equipment, and materials. We had the auditor come in and look at our floodplain management program ever so often. We are now over 10 homes in Owensboro and Davis County between the two that have either repetitive loss or severe repetitive loss. And what that entails is multiple claims on flooding insurance. So what we're doing to get more CRS points, hopefully to lower that insurance premium for folks, we're hoping to, in the next couple of years, to be able to do another flood mitigation project such as acquisition like this one, with as many of those homes that will take a buyout and move out of that floodplain. And just so people know, once a FEMA acquisition project occurs, once the project closes out, the county owns this property now, and we're not allowed to rebuild much of anything. And now you could put things like a dog park or a walking trail, but no permanent facilities can ever be put into this area again. So that's what we would be looking at any future projects as well.